It is a pretty wild thing to watch and witness the Democrat Party go wild for criminals, murderers, traffickers, violent gang members. I mean, you name it, the whole bit, the whole gambit. It would be a remarkable thing. Now, they will do this, but it will be a remarkable thing when Donald Trump turns everything around. While they just got done for the last, not even 100 days, they've been complaining about Mr. Garcia, the Maryland man, and then Mr. Oregon, and then Mr. Virginia, and as well as the economy's tanking. We're all going down. Everybody buckle up. Make sure you're strapped in for about a month. I'd say about a month. We'll give them 60 days. They've been complaining about it like really hardcore. So the nice thing about that is now that we know who all of them are that have been complaining, we can go in and say, weren't you the ones that were just complaining about the economy for like 2 months, 3 months? You were complaining? The same people that are complaining about the eggs. Weren't you complaining about Mr. Garcia? The guy that his own boss was saying, yeah, the guy was trafficking people. Yeah. I hired him to do it. Can't wait till it all comes out. I can't wait till it all comes out. Time is patience, baby. And folks, do not lose patience and faith in Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. They're two stallions. You got to give them time to cook. And if I know anything about Dan Bongino cooks, he does things right. So he don't give a shit what we have to say, Patriots. He's going to do his job, and he's going to do it well. So let's get into the big news of the day here. We're finally starting to see some trickling effects. Major trade deal, baby. Getting it done. President Donald Trump said he will join representatives from the United Kingdom in the Oval Office Thursday morning to announce a major trade deal, which he promises will be the first of many. We will be covering this today, this meeting, on Dark MAGA, so I hope all of you are able to join us. If you have Rumble Premium, please come over and hang out with us. Trump posted on Truth Social Wednesday night, hinting at the announcement with a highly respected country, before posting again on Thursday morning and revealing that it will be the United Kingdom, our allies. The trade deal is set to be announced in the press conference in the Oval Office at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So right when our show ends, Donald Trump will be making, allegedly, a very historic announcement. And if it's a good deal, a huge deal, a fabulous, beautiful deal, then how fitting would it be to have it be in the United Kingdom? Our brothers in arms. The agreement with the United Kingdom is a full and comprehensive one that will cement the relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom for many years to come. Because of our long history and allegiance together, it is a great honor to have the United Kingdom as our first announcement. Many other deals, which are in serious stages of negotiation, to follow. This is the one that has to be a good deal. This one has to show everybody, hey, look at United Kingdom made a really good deal, not in their benefit, but in America's benefit. We expect you to do the same as well. So the hope is that this is where the dominoes start falling. And I think if it wasn't that good of a deal, they wouldn't be making such a big announcement about it. A British official told the New York Times that the deal would benefit both countries, but did not offer specifics. Trump met with British Prime Minister at the White House in late February before Trump rolled out his Liberation Day tariffs, affecting nearly every country in the world. Trump's move imposed a 10% tariff on the United Kingdom imports, which took effect on April 5th. The European country is also being hit by Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum and car parts. The United Kingdom threatened a retaliatory tariff on U.S. goods as it prepared for Trump's levy to go into effect last month, even before Trump's Liberation Day announcement. So we will see what's going on here. I'm sure the mainstream media will spin it to make it seem like it's not a good deal either. But just remember, this is a very important announcement because it's going to kind of set the standard for what we are going to see with future negotiations between Donald Trump and other countries. By the way, again, I don't think they're going to reveal too much of this deal. The reason why I say that is because if other people see what United Kingdom is getting, they're going to try to get the same thing from the United States. So as I mentioned, this could hinder Donald Trump's negotiations with China, who he will begin talks with on Saturday. By the way, Saturday, we're beginning talks with China. And China is hurting. Do not listen. Do not become a shill for the mainstream media, folks. Okay? Don't start falling in love with them. They're lying to you. China is taking a beating. And I'm not just saying that because I love Trump. China was hurting as a country economically before the tariffs. Their real estate, folks, they have I think it's 600 million square feet of real estate that is just completely empty. They're going bankrupt as a country. They're pumping out stimulus. It is not good. And this is all before tariffs. They were going down big time, bigly. So this is putting the boot on their neck. We'll see what comes of that. And we'll keep you updated. Again, we'll be covering a lot of stuff today during Dark MAGA. So come hang out with us, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Dark MAGA. A lot of you in the chat are talking about the Epstein list with James O'Keefe. So we might as well take a look at that just really quick. I'm not going to talk about it all that much. But James O'Keefe did come out with a nothing burger yesterday. A huge announcement he was going to make, kind of sucked everybody in. Prince Andrew was effing underage girls. Tape of royal family advisor exposes Prince Andrew's sexual relations with minors and deep ties to Jeffrey Epstein. We already knew this, so I don't know what James was thinking. I don't know if there's more connected to all of this, and he's slowly going to be unraveling it all out. I don't know. It was an odd thing for James to do, but that allegedly was his bombshell reporting that he got a guy on camera saying that Prince Andrews was doing the oogie boogie with underage girls, which, again, we already knew. But I like James O'Keefe. I like the work that he does. So I'm not going to beat him up all that much. Maybe he thought it was a bigger deal than what it was going to be. Sometimes we miss the mark. Welcome to the world. Now, we got some morning briefings going on here. Let's kind of go through a few rapid fire news articles. India strikes Pakistan. World holds breath for response. This could really spiral out of control here. So we covered this yesterday, where there's a terrorist attack in India. Actually, a while ago. I want to say maybe 2 months ago. And India ended up attacking some terrorist places in Pakistan. And then the Pakistanis didn't like that. So they allegedly shot down 3 Indian fighter jets. Now everybody's looking around going, okay, what's going to happen here? Because they're both nuclear powers and they're right next to each other. This could get bonkers. In late April, a group of Islamic militants crossed from Pakistan to Indian-controlled Kashmir and slaughtered 26 terrorists. India accused the Pakistani government of being involved in the attack and responded Wednesday with military strikes on Pakistani heavily populated Punjab region, killing more than 24 and injuring 46 others. India says it targeted terror camps, which Pakistan says civilians were killed, including worshippers at 2 mosques. Pakistan said it is mounting a military response to its strikes, but it remains to be seen if that's saber rattling or a declaration of war. So we could have another conflict over there. Not only do you have Israel, Hamas, not only do you have Iran, I guess, versus everybody, because Iran hates everybody. We got Russia, Ukraine. Now you got India, Pakistan. It's going to make you wonder, could things really spiral out of control? And I'm going to say, yes, they can. Absolutely, because people are crazy. Now, the nice thing is, if we were to find some positives, is Trump is going to the Middle East for a highly anticipated various of meetings. For security reasons, the White House has yet to release Trump's full itinerary. Thank you, by the way. I am going to be praying a lot for Donald Trump's safety. I am extremely worried about this trip. I don't trust the Saudis. I don't trust the United Arab Emirates. I don't trust Qatar. I don't trust any of these countries. So I'm a little worried here. Trump is reportedly focused on securing financial deals and solidifying his relationship with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates, which again, remember, he was working with them in the past. They're willing to work with this guy. He wants to make deals done. So do they. But the media don't want to talk about that. Again, they're not going to shine Trump's shoes like they did with Joey. They're not going to rub Trump's shoulders. They're going to spend the next 3.5 years that we have remaining of this greatness of Mr. 47, Donald J. Trump in office, going after the guy. Again, between the three outlets, ABC, NBC, and CBS, over the first 100 days, only said 143 remotely nice things about Donald Trump, positive things, meaning they had about 97% negative coverage, somewhere in that realm, the high 90s. Ridiculous. This week, the president also announced that the Houthis don't want to fight anymore. Now, I don't know. I'm hearing conflicting reports now about this, that might not actually be true, that they're going to hold their ground. Sure. Your entire airport is by the way, that airport that they bombed came out and said, yeah, it's permanently closed. We're not going to rebuild this thing. It's just, we're just going to leave it in ash, and have agreed to a deal to end hostilities. The Houthis, the terror group backed by Iran, have disrupted international shipping in the Red Sea. Well, not any longer. You also have DOJ filing climate lawsuits against blue states, which I love to see. Look, they filed a bunch of lawsuits with us. They're continuing to file a bunch of lawsuits with us. It's about the time we have battle in the courts, baby, duking it out. President Trump and Republicans in Congress are making moves against state climate rules that they say infringe on federal authority. The fight has sparked political and legal battles between Republicans, Washington, D.C., and Democrat-led states. Last week, the Department of Justice filed multiple lawsuits against state governments over their climate and energy policies that don't do anything. We're actually building more gigatons of ice than ever before down south. Is it north or south? That's the gigatons. Gigatons. Forgot where that ice was being built or created, manifested. But it's on the eastern side of it. I remember reading about it. But anyways, on Thursday, the federal government filed 2 lawsuits against Michigan and New York over changes to state climate superfund laws. Each DOJ lawsuit focuses on Clean Air Act, which the Trump administration says that states have violated with their attempts to punish emissions. The hypocrisy from the Democrats is wild. They're going to tell you what to do, how to run your business, how to manufacture something. But for them, they get to pollute all they want. For them, they'll take private jets everywhere, just like we saw from Bernie, which we will get to in one moment. They will pollute left and right, but they're also doing everything in the namesake of climate change. These burdens and ideology-motivated laws and lawsuits threaten American energy independence and our country's economic and national security. Correct. And Pam Bondi is right here. That was her quote. She hit the head right. She hit the nail right on the head, man. Just right on the head. It is so difficult to meet these emission standards, these climate change standards that these Democrats have imposed, these climate extremists. Folks, they have wasted trillions of your dollars over decades, all in the name of climate change. How many times have we heard the world is going to end in our lifetimes alone from the Democrats? It's not Republicans coming out saying, the world's ending. Look at that. You're all going to drown. You're all going to burn up. You've never seen anything like it. It's going to be terrible. We're still here. Actually, the weather's better than ever. It's great. I'm loving it. Look at that. Still sipping coffee, doing the show, hanging out with the Patriots. We're not burning up. We're still here. We're still here. Remember, the Democrats want to destroy this country in the namesake of climate change. Remember the Green New scam? AOC wanted to get rid of all the fossil fuel industry, as echoed by Joe Biden on his campaign when he was trying to run for president, but he thought himself he was running for Senate because his brain wasn't working. Whenever you get in a debate, folks, you want to talk about politics with family and friends? Did you vote for Joey? Yeah, you did. The brain dead houseplant, that guy? Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to take anything you say seriously. You voted for Joey. Guy couldn't wipe his own ass. Come on. The Constitution specifically solely delegates the power to regulate interstate commerce to Congress and the United States. We have here not to California, not to New York, only to Congress. California, New York, Hawaii, some other states think Congress should regulate interstate commerce differently than they've done. And so they're trying to use the courts to ignore the interstate commerce clause. Well, they're doing a lot of things. They're doing a lot of things. If you're enjoying what you're hearing and seeing, we do this each and every morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, folks. In about 4 weeks, we are going to a multi-hour morning podcast. So I hope that you guys stay tuned for that, and that when we actually go to our multi-hour podcast, you're all able to hang out with me for the entire time. So we have other news coming up just really quickly. Again, if you can smash that like button, it does help us support the show. We will hit, did we hit it already? Actually, let me see here. We will hit 100,000 subscribers today or tomorrow. I don't know where we're at right now. Let me see real quick. Let me take a little peek-see under the hood. Whoa! Whoa! We did not hit it yet. We are at 99,000 subscribers on YouTube. We are at 99,000 subscribers. We might actually hit that today. We might actually hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of today. That is crazy. So we will do a 100,000 subscriber stream at some point here this week. Might be Saturday. Most likely Saturday, because Sunday's Mother's Day. That's wild, you guys. Wow. 99,000. I know, right? No, congratulations to you guys. It's our community, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I saw your emails, guys. Thank you so much. I saw your email, Jeff. I've been so freaking lazy. Been so lazy. Anyway, let's jump back into the news here. We have Donald Trump bringing to light Joey's mistakes. And no, I'm not talking about Joey's duty diapers that he's leaving around the White House. No, I'm talking about this. President Joe Biden's floating pier. Y'all remember that pier that he built, which was touted as a way to get humanitarian aid to the civilians in Gaza, resulted in the death of one American service member and injuries to 62 more, damaging $31 million worth of military equipment in the process. Now, that doesn't mean anything to Joey because he doesn't care about military equipment. That's why he left over $1 billion of military grade equipment, helicopters, night vision goggles, munitions, vehicles, all the stuff over there to the Taliban in Afghanistan. He literally actually equipped an entire military force. You can't say that about any sitting president. No, you can't. Not in the scale of Joey. Joey equipped a bunch of terrorists. All our military equipment. Like everything. Not just that too, but like bases. He fully equipped the Taliban, who we had been fighting for 20 years. He just said, hey, you know what? Here's a reward. Here's everything. Black Hawks, Humvees, Little Birds. A new report from the Pentagon Inspector General, which was published on Tuesday, revealed that far more service members have been injured than previously indicated. Of course, he's going to throw that under the rug. Of course, he's going to try to shove all his dirty diapers in the closet because he doesn't know what to do with them. The report also noted the extent of the damage to military equipment, despite the fact that the pier was not even operational for a full 3 weeks. Joey couldn't even build a freaking pier. I remember talking about this because Joey was putting forth like an infrastructure bill and all these things, right? I'm going to build new highways and roads and fix things. The dude couldn't build a freaking makeshift pier out there in the desert. And Democrats said, the guy was great. No, he's going to rebuild America for sure. He can't even build a pier. Uh-huh. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same tactic, the same charade as Gavin Newsom, where he's going to say, I'm going to build America. I'm going to make America. Well, he can't say great again because that's Donald Trump's slogan, but I'm going to revitalize America. You couldn't even revitalize California. You destroyed California. California was not, I'm not going to say it was a great state before. It was a nice state. It was a good state. It was the golden state, but you turned it into the poopy state. It smells like fecal matter here. It smells like a third world country. If you were, and some of you have been to a third world country, some of you were in the military, you've been to Pakistan, hell, you've been to the Middle East. It smells terrible. The air is disgusting. That's exactly what California, specifically Democrat-ran area, smells like. I live in a Republican area, by the way. It doesn't smell like that. By the way, it's clean and it's safe here. It's extremely safe where I live because it's Republican-ran. I just want to point out, this is what America thinks of California. California, this is what California smells like. Booty! It smells like booty! And this is the people walking around. Oh, God! So he's going to say, well, I'm going to make America the best thing that's ever happened. You couldn't even make a state, a locality, the best thing that's ever happened, dude. Gavin Newsom ran California into the ground. The same way Joey ran the country into the ground, and now Donald Trump's trying to pick up all the pieces. It's hard work. So let's see, check this out. The Inspector General said he had ignored warnings from federal aid workers and pushed ahead with a $230 million project anyways. I'm not so Joey even knew about this. I'm not sure Joey knew about it. Joey was using AutoPen for everything. Biden had promised that the pier would allow for the delivery of enough food and supplies to sustain 1.5 million Palestinian civilians for several months. But before the project was abandoned, less than 1/3 of that had been delivered. One of the biggest Biden embarrassments, the half-baked Gaza aid pier, 230 million, 20 days in use. And now we find out it injured 60 plus U.S. soldiers. One soldier died. All the terrorists and their sympathizers in the Democratic Party. Insane CNN commentator, Scott Jennings said. So here's Scott's post for all of you. One of the biggest Biden embarrassments, the half-baked Gaza aid pier, nobody wants to talk about. I mean, the amount of embarrassments Joey had, not just the Gaza pier, the aid pier, but also, giving the Iranians allegedly $10 billion of humanitarian aid. And I say humanitarian aid and the word allegedly because I think it actually went to a bunch of terrorists. Furthermore, he also had the Afghanistan pullout, which gave billions of dollars of military-grade equipment to terrorists. And then Abbey Gate, where 13 service members got blown to bits and a bunch of them injured because Joey didn't want to do his job. And I know he didn't want to do his job because one of the guys that got blown up there at Abbey Gate was on a multi-hour podcast with Sean Ryan discussing everything surrounding what took place in the actual event itself. Now, Joey's a big hypocrite. And so I have two hypocritical articles here for all of you. One referring to Bernie Sanders, and the other one is going to be referring to Disneyland to be specific. So Bernie, crazy Bernie, there's no way. I mean, maybe there is a way. This guy is too old to run. I don't know if he's going to make it another 4 years plus another 4 years, making it 8 years of life. And I'm not wishing any ill will upon Bernie Sanders. I'm not one of those political people that is a psycho person that wishes ill will against people, unless you're a terrorist or murderer, trafficker, those types of things. I hope Bernie lives another 20 years or more. I don't know. But on Wednesday, Senator Bernie Sanders defended his exorbitant use of private jets to fly around the country during his, quote, listen to this, fighting oligarchy tour with Representative AOC. I've never even touched a private jet, let alone seen inside one other than what I've seen in movies. This guy is flying around in private jets while saying, I'm going to fight the oligarchy. Fox News host Brett Baier basically brought up the topic to Sanders, and I have the clip here. And let's just kind of see if he squirms a little bit. A little squirmy Bernie.
Alyssa Slotkin, senator from Michigan, she said you shouldn't be using oligarch. It's over people's head. You've gotten criticized from other people. Free Beacon says Bernie Sanders spent $221,000 on private jets fighting the oligarchy tour paid for by friends of Bernie Sanders. That you've spent millions of dollars in campaign funds on private jet travel over the years. How do you push back on both of those things?
When's the last time you saw Donald Trump during a campaign mode at National Airport?
No, it doesn't. But he's also not fighting the oligarchy.
No. You run a campaign and you do 3 or 4 or 5 rallies in a week. The only way you can get around to talk to 30,000 people. Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United, waiting, 30,000 people are waiting? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. That's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past. We're going to do it in the future.
And you think that this is hitting a mark? You think it's scratching the itch that voters want to hear from?
I think at a time when the people on top are doing phenomenally well, when seniors, working class people are struggling, people want to hear action to stand up to the people who have the wealth and the power and create an economy that works for all of us, not just the people on top.
Well, Senator Sanders, I appreciate you coming on, talking about the issues, and we'll have you back.
So wild. Freaking wild. So we're not done with it yet. We're not done with it. He first alluded to Politico report on how Senator Elisa Slotnick urged Democrats to stop harping on the oligarchy because the term does not resonate beyond coastal institutions. Then Breyer referred to a recent Washington Free Beacon story on Sanders' main campaign committee, again, spending over $221,000 to take private jets to fight the oligarchy. And that was mentioned here. Sanders' initial inclination was to take a swipe at President Donald Trump because he has Trump derangement syndrome, as you just saw in the clip. But that's their go-to for everything. Donald Trump just taking it. We know that Donald Trump has a private jet. He's a billionaire. One would say that maybe he's part of the elites. Yeah. By the way, the guy had a couple assassination attempts on his life, so maybe he should be taking private jets. But, the reason why Brett didn't bring that up is because what Bernie Sanders would say as a retaliatory response, well, I have death threats on my life, so I need to take this as well. So it was good that Brett didn't bring up that component of it. But check this out. He added, that's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past, and we're going to do it in the future. Did he let that slip? Is he letting that slip? Are they actually running in 2028? With the reporting of the price tag for the Fighting Oligarchy tour flights, the National Republican Congressional Committee criticized Sanders and AOC for their jet-setting ways with a not-so-subtle nod to climate activism. Champagne socialist Bernie Sanders and AOC demand Americans surrender their pickup trucks, air conditioning, and meat for the luxe leather seats of their private jets that cost more per hour than most Americans earn in months. Their hypocrisy is staggering. That comes from NRCC spokesperson Ben Peterson. And it's correct. The hypocrisy is staggering, but there are no mirrors in Democrat households or Democrat offices. They cannot look in the mirror and be like, well, that's a pretty hypocritical thing that we're doing here. And it's always them telling you what to do. See, they don't have to follow the rules. They don't. You do. And if you don't, we're going to lock you up. We're going to ruin your life, is what they're going to do. And nothing's going to happen to them. And how do I know that? And how do you know that? Because that's what we've seen over the past decade now. And it is wild. A lot of you asked about this, and we're going to go about it. We're going to go back to it, baby, because you go, Brad, how do you have so much energy in the morning? How do you do it? I'm just waking up. I'm trying to get the sand dust out of my eyes. How do you have so much energy? Folks, we're taking a swig of something great. It tastes good, and man, it packs a punch. If you still haven't heard about 1775 coffee by now, now's your shot. You got to try it. Now's the time. The 1775 starter kit just dropped, only 1,000 units. They still have a few left over, which is why we're bringing you this sponsorship now. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. You're not going to crash, folks. You're going to be uplifted. You're going to feel like you're the second coming of Christ. Just wee, yippee. You're going to feel great. All single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions, which is always fun. And a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. It's $170 worth of coffee and gear, by the way. So you're getting a deal because you're going to get it for $99. This is for the ones who have been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, which it has. They're one of our main sponsors, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. How do you think I do it? I'm not a morning person, by the way. I am a person that doesn't talk in the morning, but with all of you and in combination with 1775 Coffee, I'm going to be doing it all the time. Go to 1775coffee.com or the QR code and use /studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. Start your day off with coffee that actually backs what you believe. And that's what we do here, folks. I mean, hell, I even have a shirt that says, Papa didn't raise no commie. 1775 Coffee. I always try to show what's in my mug, but I try not to spill it. Nah, it's not going to work. Don't even bother. It's in there. You got to trust me. Look at my tongue. Everyone's like, what's wrong with this guy? Who is this guy? What the hell's wrong with him? I've never seen anything like it. You're right. You haven't. We run a different ship here. We run a really different ship. We bring you the energy. Do we not, Patriots? It's a different type of show, but you still get the news and a little bit of entertainment out of it as well. Maybe a laugh here or there. Maybe. Now, moving forward with some hypocrisy. Disney threw a fit over Don't Say Gay in Florida. It's building a park where being gay is illegal. This is in Abu Dhabi. If you didn't hear the big news the other day, you have an investor that is going to build a park, a Disney theme park in Abu Dhabi near the Warner Brothers and SeaWorld areas out there. And Disney doesn't have to put up any capital on this. They're just going to make a boatload of money off royalties, allegedly. So we will see here. It says a few years ago, the Walt Disney Company threw a tantrum over Florida's inaccurately named Don't Say Gay law that bolstered parental rights in education. Well, now the entertainment behemoth is building its first new theme park in 15 years. Wait for it. In Abu Dhabi, a city where what is illegal? Homosexuality. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. But no uproar from the left. None at all. Turns out the bottom line matters. Of course it does, because money talks at some point. To some point, as I mentioned, because you might say, well, Brad, you always talk about how these woke executives are going to drive the parks into the ground or the business into the ground. Here in America, it will. But here's the thing. Maybe Bob Iger knows that and goes, well, there's no these woke crazies in Abu Dhabi, so we're going to make a freaking killing over there. We're going to just rake in all the dough because there's no psycho woke executives that are going to drive this theme park into the ground because they're just gaining royalties from it. The only involvement that Disney has in this park is using its Imagineers to theme and create the park. They're not even actually constructing it themselves. Somebody else is. Disney's theme parks are performing well, and they have always been. This is one area of which one I used to be a part of. I used to have a pass for a lot of years. Don't have the pass anymore. I used to go probably every 2 weeks, sometimes even every week. And that was the one area where I did not see wokeness being thrown and shoved down my damn throat by Disney. The only instances where I saw wokeness taking place and being shoved down my throat was you would have some trans cast members where they were men wearing the women cast members' clothing. And they would just walk by you. They were the ones that, you know, the bougie people would pay for a VIP tour where they get you in the front of the line and they get you your food and basically a waiter and they'll tell you about the park. It's like thousands of dollars to get this person. I don't have that money. So that's where you would see it. But that's like, you would have to go to the theme park a lot to see something like that. So the parks have always been killing it. That's what's keeping Disney afloat here. The company reported they brought in $8.9 billion in the second quarter alone, but Disney shares have traded down 17.2% so far this year. Abu Dhabi is the capital of the United Arab Emirates, where sexual activity between two men and two women is punishable by 14 years in prison. Oh, that's fine. We'll still build here because money talks. Also, trans-identifying people or a male disguising as a female, that's the correct way of doing it because you can't shapeshift, can be criminally prosecuted and face up to a year in prison and fines. The country's laws reportedly originate with Sharia law. So you have that taking place. Bunch of hypocrites over there in Disney company. But, again, they want to make money and they will, in some cases, give up their entire viewpoints and worldview for that cashola, which a lot of people would and are doing. If you are new here to the Bald Brad Show, let us know in the chat. We would love to give you a shout out in the live chat. Again, we do this each and every weekday morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We also have a second channel called Spooky Adventures. If you're into the paranormal, the supernatural, and the unexplained, you got to go over there and subscribe because you're going to have a hell of a time. It has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with paranormal, trying to seek out and find that needle in a haystack video. There's a lot of fakeries out there, and we call them out. We still have a good time with it, but we call them out. But it's all in search of that needle in a haystack that gives credibility and evidence to another realm, a spiritual realm, a higher place. You want to definitely go over there and subscribe. Again, that is Spooky Adventures. And a lot of you have been asking, well, what's the link? I would love to subscribe. I'd love to check it out. Well, let me get the link for you then, Patriots. No, it's okay. Let me get the link for you. I actually have it queued up. At least I said I did. I thought I did. I guess I don't. Give me one moment. I'll pull it up right here. I do have it. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave me. I have it right here. So if you want to subscribe to Spooky Adventures, there's the link. Just go there and come back to here, of course, and subscribe to that. We usually try to do an episode every Saturday, so you're not going to be bombarded with like notifications, but put on the notification bell for the Bald Brad Show here on YouTube. Again, if you're confused where the notification bell is, well, it will have a bell right there, and put on all notifications so you know right when we go live, because YouTube likes to screw with us. So again, we're going to hit 100,000 subscribers either today or tomorrow. It's going to happen. Brad, Saturday night, 4 p.m. What's Saturday night at 4 p.m.? I don't know what's happening, but I would like to be there. We will see. I don't know. I don't know what my weekend plans are. I just know, I know Sunday's Mother's Day, which is exciting for all the mothers. Okay, let's get into more news. Actually, I want to go to X really quick because I got through all my important stuff. Finally, I was able to actually get through important stuff, which is always great to see. I want to go to this right here. One moment, folks. Hold on one second. So we do have India, more news again on India, I guess. This is what was taking place. And I don't know if this is breaking or not. India conducted Operation Sindoor. Okay, targeting terrorist infrastructure. So that's still going on. I wanted to see if there was anything between India and Pakistan that has escalated in terms of warfare, because Pakistan said that was an act of war. I mean, this thing could really spiral out of control. And I might be wrong here, but if it does actually go through the process of into war, I would be curious what would happen, because I don't think two nuclear powers have ever gone to war, full-fledged war with each other. So I'm not exactly sure what would happen there, but it'd be scary nonetheless. Again, we're going to be live later today, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Dark MAGA. That one will be on Rumble Premium only. We have not done enough hours to open it up to everybody yet. If you're not familiar what Dark MAGA is a time where basically it's rated R. We do whatever and say whatever the hell we want because it's behind a paywall, which would be Rumble Premium. And I understand a lot of people might not have the finances or don't want to contribute to Rumble Premium. I pay for it because I really do believe in that platform. They are taking care of us big time over there. YouTube is not. YouTube is screwing us left and right. We will have gained 20,000 subscribers in 7 days. Viewership stayed like this. Okay, again, I want to rehash this out with you because I think it's important, and also I get to rant. I want to share with you the numbers. Okay. As I spoke, we've already gained 100 subscribers. I'm not exaggerating that. Like literally, it was 99,055. It's now 99,155. So since I made that announcement that we are at 99,000 subscribers, we've already gained 100. Now, just to give you an idea of viewership per video, which I'm ecstatic about, let me just read to you really quickly what's going on here. So we have gained 20,000 people in a week. Do you think when you gain 20,000 people, your viewership per video should probably move up pretty high? No, it hasn't. It should. It hasn't. Yesterday's video was 441 views. The day before that was 400 views. The day before that was 500 views. The day before that was 300 views. So we've actually gone down. The day before that was 600 views. The day before that was 450 views. The day before that was 300 views. The day before that was 560 views. The day before that was 343 views. Do you notice that nothing has spiked above 600 views? So what I mean is that, of course, you're always going to have something like that. You're going to have slight movement because nothing can be perfectly uniform, meaning 500 views, 500 views, 500 views, 500 views. It doesn't work that way. You guys notice that there almost seems like there's a ceiling on it? It's weird as hell. So those are the numbers from the past week. Now, I'm not complaining. I'm stoked that we even have over 100 views. That's awesome. I'm saying there's something nefarious going on here. Yeah, it is pretty consistent views, which is great. But it's uniform. How is that the bar, like if you were to make a uniform distribution, that just means it's flat. You guys, to see a uniform distribution is extremely rare. Especially when you're getting 20,000 brand new people watching your content. That ain't possible. Remember, your channel's going to fluctuate, is what I was told. I have the receipts. They kept using that word. Oh, it's going to fluctuate. Yeah, over time it will fluctuate. It's not fluctuating. It's not even moving. It's flat. It's flat. Where's the fluctuation? It's just flat. Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense. The other thing that doesn't make sense here. Let's get to this. I hope you guys saw this story. I really do. There was. I'm not gonna get through it. I saved the best for last. So there's this statue. You got to watch this. I'm going to show you. There's a running ad right now. There's a statue that was put up in New York City, and well, Jesse Waters of Waterworld is covering it. So let's check this out.
Christopher Columbus, Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington, even Honest Abe, even Frederick Douglass all got torn down. Statues are important. They tell the American story. But the left wants to desecrate and forget our heroes and erect their own statues. In Times Square, a giant statue of a black woman just went up. And when I heard about the statue, I was open-minded. American heroes come in all shapes and sizes. Who is this woman?
I'm being as honest as I possibly could be. I thought when I saw this picture, I thought it was AI. I thought this story, this whole thing was completely fabricated. I didn't think it was real. Completely thought it was AI and people screwing with me. Before we continue here, I want to make sure I get Blackbird's donation of $10. F YouTube. We've got your back, Brad. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. We have the best community here. I really do believe that. You guys, when we go into other people's chats, they love us. They love you guys. Champagne says, we got you. I told my husband, whom I love so much, I tell him every morning I cheat on him with, oh, geez. I cheat on with you. He laughs and said, you got you, Bald Brad fix. Yes, sir. I start my morning. Thank you. Jesus. Tell your husband I said, what's up? He's a good guy. I don't know him, but he's a good guy. That's really funny.
What did she do to get a statue? A nice one, too. Nothing.
Look at that.
This isn't a real person. It's a DEI statue. The sculptor says she's a fictional character who's meant to contrast the statues of white men in Times Square, like Father Duffy, a World War I hero who actually accomplished something. The artist calls this fake lady a modern-day David. The contrapposto pose of her body and the ease of her stance is a subtle nod to Michelangelo's David. David was a celebration of the human form. Not sure what this statue's celebrating. If you were going to put up a fake statue, why not make her happy and healthy? Not slap a big scowl on her face and her hands on her hips. This is what they want us to aspire to be? If you work hard, you can be overweight and anonymous? They don't like real statues because it reminds them of our society's merit-based system. They want a society based on equity, where achievement isn't celebrated, equal outcomes are. So they celebrate mediocrity instead of triumph. Our nation has hundreds of statues honoring Black Americans, as we should. Harriet Tubman, Duke Ellington, Jackie Robinson, Rosa Parks. We could go on and on and on. But they've built a statue in Times Square. They could have done it for Michelle Obama or Kamala Harris or Oprah Winfrey. Usually you have to earn a statue. I'd give one to Jalen Brunson. He's carrying the Knicks on his back. Anyone but a fake lady. So what does New York think about the DEI statue?
Here we go. Are we going to get on the street interviews?
Do you know who this woman is?
No.
I have no idea, no.
Nope. I have no idea, no.
No, I do not.
Do you have any idea of maybe something that she accomplished that got her a statue?
Something with equal rights? I don't know.
Something to do with like the black community.
Part of the BLM movement?
What if I told you she accomplished nothing?
Really?
It's supposed to embody everybody. Does that make sense to you?
No.
I think I feel totally represented by that.
You do?
No.
I feel like it's a good representation for New York, especially because it's towards the BBW women. And a lot
I'm sorry,
of people,
what's BBW?
big black, like the big black women.
What do you think about her pose? Is that a good pose?
No, I don't think she's happy to be here.
People are comparing it to Michelangelo's David. How do you think it stacks up?
She's wearing more clothes.
She's not naked. No.
Would it be better if she were?
That's a tough question.
Who do you think she voted for?
I would say Trump.
I think she voted for Trump.
Probably Kamala.
Why do you think that?
Black Lives Matter.
Probably didn't vote
Why?
because she's stuck here the whole day. She couldn't get to the polls.
How does she make you feel?
Like a baddie.
What a beautiful piece, standing in the middle of Times Square. What a beautiful time.
Jimmy Fail is the host.
God, man, there's some weird people out there. Look, I act weird on here for entertainment, but man, there's some weird people. I love the People Watch, man. They don't know what's going on. It looks like we have an update here on a Obama-appointed judge blocking the Trump administration from dismantling 3 agencies. So here we go. More rogue judges going against Donald Trump and his administration. A federal judge is blocking President Donald Trump from shuttering 3 federal agencies to assist public resources, minority businesses, and mediation services. Nearly 24 Democratic-led states sued to stop Trump from closing the Institute of Museum and Library Services, the Minority Business Development Agency, and the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service. There's a big word for the morning. An appointee of former President Barack Obama, which it's just weird how a lot of these judges seem to be a Biden or Obama judge. Have you noticed that? Not every single one, but a lot of them. Some of them are Bush appointed. It's very odd to me. Very, very odd. Sided with the states on Tuesday, affirming their arguments that the closing violated the separation of powers. Quote, it disregards the fundamental constitutional role of each of the branches of our federal government. Specifically, it ignores the unshakable principles that Congress makes the law and appropriates funds, and the executive implements the law enacted and spends the funds Congress appropriated, which is true. I'm not disagreeing with that. Attorneys for the federal Trump from the Trump administration had sought to argue that the states had no standing to bring a lawsuit in this case, but McConnell rejected that. The states have presented compelling evidence illustrating that the harms, here you go, there's that key word again, all the time, there's harms stemming from dismantling of these 3 agencies are already unfolding or are certain to occur. Now, when you say the word certain, generally what that means is that it's guaranteed. It's 100% going to take place, that there's going to be harm facilitated through this. McConnell stated, pointing to the significant reduction in personnel available and competent to administer these agencies, funds, and services, and the elimination of certain programs that served the states. By the way, this word harms, you can apply to almost any standard. I'd be curious as to what standard they're applying it here, where what do they mean by harm? Like what harm is going to be done? That you're going to lose your job? That you're going to be let go? Because there's harm. That is, I mean, everybody's going to sue at that point. Now, I'm being very facetious in some way, shape, or form. But I keep finding it odd that a lot of these judges are the rogue judges. And just coming out and constantly doing what they're doing. The other side of this that I don't think a lot of people talk about, what I think Donald Trump is trying to do here within his first year is, I think with all these executive orders, that he is going to try and see what limitations are on the executive branch. How much power does the president actually have? Which truthfully isn't all that much, to be fair. But he is really pushing the limits here to see what he's able to do and not do. So again, everybody is talking about the trade deal, like the New York Post. The trade deal is going to be happening in about 5 minutes with representatives from the United Kingdom. He's touting it as a very big and exciting day. We will see about that. This is important because it's going to set the standard for all his future negotiations. And if it's not good, it could delay. Well, I suppose actually, no matter what he does, it could be good or bad, could delay future negotiations here with other countries because people are going to want to see, well, is that what they got? I think I can get that too. Or they might think, oh, shoot, we're going to just take this deal now because this is the best deal that we're going to get. So a lot of things could really happen here. This is a domino effect is what I'm calling it. And I think it could spiral here in a good way. Best answer ever, because she's been stuck here. Right, exactly. Yeah. And she ain't getting out. What did Craig say? I want my bleeping money back. For what? For what? We love you, Craig. It's good to see you. It's good to see you, Craigie. Let's see what else we have here in the morning that I have left over from my list of things. We have, where's it at? I want to find it really quick. Forgive me, folks. Give me one. There we go. Right here. I want to keep highlighting this because Pam Bondi and Kash Patel came out and they've been doing a lot of these drug busts. Well, here something good came out, and Bondi announces the rescue of over 100 children in an historic bust of sexual predators. Federal authorities say they have saved, holy lordy, more than 100 children in an operation that resulted in the capture of more than 200 sex offenders. The Department of Justice announced Wednesday that the FBI arrested 205 child sex offenders throughout the country in Operation Restore Justice, part of a nationwide crackdown on child sex trafficking and abuse that the agency says resulted in the rescue of 115 children. Now, something that a lot of you might not be aware of is the Democrats in my state of California declined, listen carefully, declined to make it a felony to elicit and pay for sex with 17 and 16-year-olds. So I'm going to say that again. Democrats don't want it to be a felony. They just recently changed it as of like 2 days ago, by the way, because they got a major pushback. Democrats wanted to not allow it to be a felony to elicit sex with payment of 16 and 17-year-olds in the state of California. They actively, and by the way, this isn't the only time they've done it. They've done it multiple times. This has been something that's been brought up. They've declined it multiple times. They don't think it's a felony, or should be, for somebody to pay to have sex with a 16 and 17-year-old in the state of California. How much proof do I need to show you guys over the course of 4 years? These people are psychos. They are out of their mind. They want to trans your kids and not let you know about it, by the way. But I got to read to the children. I have to read to the children with Drag Queen Story Hour with my testes lopping on the floor right in front of your kid and me dangling them. What the hell's wrong with these people? By the way, do you notice that they don't go to like the old folks home and go read to them? Because they'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you, you weirdo? Get the hell out of here. You notice they don't go that? You notice they don't go to corporations for Drag Queen Story Hour? You notice they don't, again, go to the old folks home to read to them? It's always your children. You notice that? It's always your children. They want to trans your kid. They want to mess with your kid by indoctrinating them, getting all this weirdo crap in their minds. They want to allow homeless people to have syringes so they can do drugs in broad daylight, and they're cool with it. We asked them, actually debated 3 very nice women, by the way, but 3 women on it. Oh, yeah, the nurses, by the way, they're first responders, medical field. Oh, yeah, it's completely cool to do that. That's crazy to me. Helping somebody do their addiction. Yeah, you know, somebody wants to off themselves. Let's give them the firearm to do it. That's a great idea. No, we won't give them bullets, but we'll give them the firearm so they can go find the bullets to do the thing. Oh, that's great. Well, how does that correlate? Well, because people overdose all the time in the state of California. It's a massive problem we have here. There's bodies everywhere in the streets. But Newsom's doing a great job. Don't forget, because Newsom's doing a great job, what I was told, because he has a port that he didn't even freaking build, that he just took advantage of, and rightfully so, that he's just sitting there. But no, we should give him credit for the port. We're giving credit to Kash Patel and Pam Bondi here for doing amazing work, because the Department of Justice announced Wednesday that the FBI arrested 205 child sex offenders throughout the country in Operation Restore Justice, and the rescue of 115 children now are saved. Joey could never do something like this. The Department of Justice will never stop fighting to protect victims, especially child victims, and we will not rest until we hunt down, arrest, and prosecute every child predator who preys on the most vulnerable among us. Again, It's only been a little over 100 days. And how many times have we seen the drug bust, multiple drug busts, by the way, bust on huge gang affiliations. And then now we're getting another bust on these psychos out here targeting your children. Attorney General Pam Bondi, as she announced the operation, which took place over the course of 5 days, I'm grateful to the FBI and their state and local partners for their incredible work in Operation Restore Justice and have directed my prosecutors not to negotiate. Good. Among more than 200 suspects arrested in the operation Among more than 200 suspects arrested in operation are an illegal alien from Mexico, a former Washington, D.C. police officer, and a Minnesota state trooper and Army reservist. The suspects have been charged with a range of crimes, including child sex trafficking, possessing, producing, and distributing child sexual abuse material, and online enticement of minors. Bondi also warned parents that they must keep an eye on their children's activity online to ensure that they are not being targeted by predators. There's a lot of psychos out there, a lot of weirdos claiming to be something when in actuality they're not. And, well, that statement fits into multiple categories of people saying there's something of which they're not. Am I a cat? No. Is Brad a cat? Meow. Look, I'm meowing. I'm a cat. Can't you tell? Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. No, because it turns out you can't shapeshift into a cat. In the same way, I cannot shapeshift into a woman. I'd be a hot ass woman, let me tell you. Krager, Dizzy, Dave, Jeff, all the guys. Pat especially. Where the hell's George in here? George would be salivating over me if I put on a wig. George wouldn't know what to do with himself. Well, he would, wouldn't he? Anywho, enough of that. Okay, that's gross. Look, you can't take yourself too seriously, folks. This is politics. People are crazy. They're psycho. As you see here, I don't take myself too seriously. I don't know all that much. I'm a knucklehead. Yeah. See, yeah, Brad would be a hot biatch. Yes, sir. Dizzy knows. Dizzy, calm down, Dizzy. Dizzy, settle down. You guys are freaking great. I'm so thankful that you guys put laughing emojis in the chat, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know, they think that's a little too off the ball here. Like, shit. Truthfully, now this is going to sound narcissistic. I really do it to make myself laugh, because if you can make yourself laugh, you don't have to rely on other people for happiness. But it's always really nice when somebody else wants to chime in with the laugh. Oh, yeah. I would not shave off the beard. I would just put on the wig. You know what I mean? Yeah, have you guys seen the cross-dressers? They call themselves trans. They're cross-dressers that do that they'll just put on the wig, but yet they'll keep their beard and put on a ton of makeup. Like, what are you guys doing over there? What are you doing, you weirdos? Look, everybody's into weird stuff. I don't beat people up for cross-dressing. I'm not into it. It's weird. I actually remember seeing my first cross-dresser because I used to watch the show Cops. I used to share this all the time. And there's this famous one where this guy in a big rig gets pulled over and he comes out in heels and a dress. And I was confused as a kid. I'm like, what the hell is that guy doing? He kept on his trucker hat, but he comes out in high heels and a dress. People are into some weird stuff. I guarantee you there's at least one person in my chat that's a patriot that is into some kinky stuff. I just don't want to know about it. That's all. I just don't want to know about it. Go your merry way. You have fun. You're into it. It's weird as hell. You find it normal. That's fine. Go on your merry way. Stop. If you're a trans person, leave the kids alone. And leave me alone too. Leave me alone too. All right. Who are we going to raid today? Who are we going? Can you guys find somebody to raid for me while we're going through the chat here really quick? I would love to raid somebody new. Wendy's show is great, but we raided her twice, and a lot of people like this. Brad is going to make bitches with, I think you mean beard, Karen. Karen, I think you meant beard. Because that's not what you meant. Karen, I don't think you know what you just said. And I'm going to read it because it was that great. So everybody on YouTube and X. And don't you take it off yet, Karen, because Karen has moderator control. Brad is going to make bitches with beads. Great. Is that what you meant? I don't think you knew what you said. That's not what you said. You said beads. It's right there. Hold on a second. No. Right here. I'm pinning it. Pinning this message. Brad is going to make bitches with beads great. I love that. She meant beards, to be fair. She meant beards. Oh my God. We got to end off on that. That was like the best thing ever. So head over to Rumble. That was like a dark MAGA podcast. That's the type of things that happen in dark MAGA podcasts. You got to be over there for it. If you haven't been able to join us for dark MAGA, you got to. And let's see if Jesse's live here. But who should we raid here? Let me go to the Rumble chat really quick. Let me see who we got. How did you get beads? How? Oh, we're still in the beads chat. Who are we going to raid over at Rumble? I think I might have to pick somebody here. Let's see. Oh. Nobody ever raids us. You notice that? I think we're too early of a show for that. But when we do our multi-hour streams, I'd be curious if more people drop on in and give us a little bit of love every now and then. A lot of you are still on the bead stuff. We don't want to know about it, nor do we care. Exactly, Joanne. Joanne, exactly. Just don't want to know about it. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens in the world. Just, leave it in the box that it's supposed to be left in, and then open it up on your own time. I'm trying to see who we should go to. I'm scrolling through, trying to see who we should. I don't know who this guy is. Red Pill Project. Not familiar with them. I guess we can go over to the Kyle Sefrin show. We've sent people over there before. And let's make a big splash. Appreciate all of you. We'll be back today, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Dark MAGA. Be there, be square. And we should hit 100,000 today, hopefully. If not, tomorrow morning. Take care, Patriots.